Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. BMW i4 M50 model year 2024. 3,000 miles later, let's go for a little drive and just talk about the good, the bad. I wouldn't say the ugly, let's just say the not so good, right? Let's just start with the good, right?
Turn right onto Riggs Road, then turn left onto University Boulevard East.
There's just, so much. There's so much to actually like about this, vehicle. First of all, it's very, very efficient, right? Right? Unlike some other EVs that will, unlike some other EVs that will. So unlike some other EVs, right? That will guesstimate and claim that you have well over 300 miles of range, when in reality, what you got is about 270 or 280. The GOM or guess-o meter in this car is pretty much fairly, reliable. I mean, obviously there's no perfect, setup, but the average remaining miles that it tells you is based on what your average driving habits are. So when you look at it from that point of view, the range that is being displayed, the remaining range that is being displayed on your dashboard, more or less is fairly representative of what, how far that you can actually go with your car, right? And so that is one of the benefits of this car, in that it gives you a fairly good idea in terms of, in reality, how much range that you have left. And relative to the power that this car is working with, right? So this is the M50. So that's 536 horses, right? And well over 580 or so torque. So based on that, obviously you're not going to be averaging 4 miles per 4 kilowatts per 4 miles. You're not going to average 4 kilowatt hours per mile. You're going to average somewhere in the 3.4 tops range, somewhere between 3.1, 3.2 and 3.4, right? And if you do the maths, it's fairly close to the quoted EPA range for this car of 272 miles. Given that the usable battery is 80 kilowatts. So you've multiply that by 3.4. I believe that gives you somewhere in the 272 mile range. So that's plenty of range, right? I mean I go far, right? I live really far from my office, and I can easily do a round trip of like well over 180 miles 190 miles, and still get home with somewhere just around 20 percent of charge left. Just to give you an idea, I'm currently on my way home. I'm looking at the dashboard and I have 50% of battery left. And keeping in mind that I only charged my battery to 80%, right? So, and one-way trip from my home to my office is somewhere roughly around 80 miles, right? So 80 miles, I mean, if you do the math, is the 80 miles, but of course I have clients and whatnot along the way, and you add a few miles here, a few miles there. But by the time you realize what has happened, you've done not 160, but roughly around 170 to 180 miles on the round trip. And I normally get home with about 20 percent, or somewhere close to 20% of battery power left, which is plenty. And so even though this car came with 2 years of free charging at Electrify America, to be honest with you, I really haven't had that much of a need for it yet, because I charge at home, and it's just been so convenient to just wake up in the morning, jump in the car. I mean, I have more than enough range, and do all the driving that I need. Get home, I still have range to actually get home, and go once I get into the garage, go ahead and throw that charger in, and go about my business. So that's a massive plus, right? Another plus obviously is it has all sorts of basics that you would expect, like Apple CarPlay. What else? Obviously, it's a lot of fun to drive. It's super fast. So it does require you to be responsible, right, as much as you can be while driving. I'm not saying that that you got to drive like a grandpa, but you understand, you have to kind of control yourself, because this beast right here, this beast requires a certain level of responsibility. Okay. Another thing is the driving modes, right? Talking about this beast, it has 3 different driving modes. It has sports, comfort, and Eco Pro. As of right now, as you can guess, I'm driving on Eco Pro because I have a long drive. When I'm in and around where I live, more often than not, I'm on comfort. Every now and then I might put it on sports. But the reality is that even on comfort mode, I mean, you have about 480 plus horsepower at your fingertips. Guys, it's way more. It's way more than enough, right? I mean, unless you're crazy, I mean, that's way more than enough. So what I actually found out is that I rarely ever have to do the switch up and put it on that sports, unless, let's say, I'm on a back road and I want to just feel that extra power. So again, so much fun, so much power, so addictive. The instant torque is addictive, guys. I mean, it's one of those things. Unless you get your foot in here you don't know what you're missing. And in my case, my first experience driving an EV happened to be this car right here, right? Happened to be this type of car, because when I went to test drive one, I test drove an M50. That was my first experience in an EV, and so I mean my mind was instantly blown away by the power, by the instant torque, the instant horsepower that is literally at your fingertips, right? If you can imagine whether you can get through 2 or 3 slow folks, guess what? It's more often than not possible that you can actually get it done, right? But again, you have to be able to drive responsibly, right? So another thing, what else? Obviously for me, I mean, I like how this car looks. Other folks may not like it. I mean, they may not like the old beaver tooth grill, but I mean it's grown on me, and that's part of the reason why I actually ordered mine in black, is because the black color, I believe it's called pearl metallic black, was an upgrade, and that color does a fairly good job of sort of blending in the black grill into the rest of the exterior of the car. So for me, it looks just fine, and especially after I had the car tinted, so that actually also helps in terms of the overall exterior look of the vehicle. So the overall look is great. Another positive about this car is that it's a hatchback, right? It's a hatchback. The fact that it is a hatchback makes this car really practical, right? I mean, I wouldn't go all the way and call it family car. It's not a family car by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a practical car, right? If you have a big family, and well, this is you better have another car. If you only got one car, this is not the car that you want to have, because it's really not going to help you, right? Sorry. But if you have a big family and you have the opportunity to have more than one car, then one of your cars should be the quote-unquote family car, and then this car could be like your car to have fun with and still handle some practical chores and whatnot for the family. And so for instance, I recently went on a trip with my wife, and we took this car to the airport, and in the trunk I was able to fit in like a luggage, like a big traveling size luggage, and I also was able to squeeze in 2 carry-ons, and who knows what else that I actually could have thrown in there had I wanted. And I did all of that without having to fold the back seats, because you all know that the back seats are foldable. So if we needed extra space, I could have folded 1, 2, or 3. I believe it's 1 or 2 of the back seats, and had even more space. So it's a very practical car, relative to, right, the fact that it's a sports sedan. So that's another benefit there. Now let's talk about the things that are not so good. There aren't that many. Obviously, you can tell I'm very happy with this car, but it does have a few quirks. It has a few quirks. Number one is Apple CarPlay, right? Not necessarily the CarPlay itself, but I believe it's BMW's connection process of your Apple device to their system here, their iDrive, right? So is the connection of your Apple device to their iDrive, and more often than not, it's a very smooth connection. And I said more often than not because every once in a while you're gonna jump in your car and your Apple and your BMW iDrive 8.5 is not gonna find your iPhone. It was not going to see it, right? And then when you try to reconnect it, let's just say that it can be a bit of a drag sometimes, right? I mean, sometimes I had to delete my device and forget the device and delete the device and delete it both on the iDrive and on my phone and all that kind of stuff, and still have to sort of work with it to get it to actually connect. So that for me is a bit of a drag. It again, it doesn't happen often. I mean, I believe there's a higher chance of having this issue every once in a while, right? When BMW does some over the air updates, and then when they do that, sometimes it'll inadvertently kick out your Apple device. At least I'm talking about my own experience, and that's when it gives me a bit of a headache, and it gives me a headache because I prefer to use Apple's map as opposed to BMW's map, because that gets me to point number 2 of what I don't like about this car is BMW's map. No, it's not good enough. BMW's map is not good enough. I mean, I can do a whole video on how almost, I won't say it's useless. It's not, but it's super plain Jane. It's like I don't know how to put it, like what map was maybe about 10 to 15 years ago. That's what it feels like, right? For one thing, the graphics, the mapping graphics, right, is not good enough. It's not. I don't know how to explain it, but it's not as practical. That's the word. It's not as practical as the mapping graphics of of Apple's map or Google Maps. So I use either one of them, and those two are just fine. They're basically perfect. But the BMW's graphics are not that great. If you're driving and you're looking at the BMW map, half the time, like it is not clear enough to make you understand which road to actually turn into in situations where you may have multiple turns, like multiple options to turn into. And so That's one of the things. And then the other thing that a BMW's map does not do is, unlike Apple's map, BMW's map doesn't give you ample warning, right? It doesn't give you, if you're on a highway, BMW's map does not give you ample warning on when to, when your exit is coming up. Whereas, for instance, if Apple is going to warn you when you have 10 miles away, it's going to tell you that your exit is coming in 10 miles. Then 2 miles away, Apple is going to remind you again that your exit is coming in 2 miles. And then 1 mile is going to remind you, and then obviously it will let you know when you're literally at the exit. So did you see that? There's no way that you can miss your exit when you're on an Apple map. Now let's compare that to BMW's map. BMW doesn't warn you until literally, I believe, 1 mile or even 0.5 miles. It will tell you, guy, your exit is here. Start getting ready. And if you weren't paying attention, obviously, we are not all perfect, right? Sometimes, more often than not, right, you're paying attention and you're ready for your exit. But there's always every now and then, right, when you're going somewhere that you're not familiar with, and maybe you're in the car with with your family members, and y'all are chatting and whatnot. Guess what? Yeah, you can make a mistake and fly right by your exit when you're relying on BMW's map. And so that is not BMW cancel.
Map.
BMW cancel. Guys, so that right there just led me to point number 3. Y'all just heard, I just mentioned BMW, and it automatically thought that I was giving its iDrive instruction. So you can see it's a bit overly sensitive. And so I mean that's not too bad. I mean, but every once in a while, every once in a while, I mean, you'll just have to deal with that. So what else, guys? Again, what else do I like? I like the one pedal mode, right? The B mode, right? It's called the B mode, right? And I use it. I use the B mode a lot in my car as almost as a way to downshift, right? To downshift to slow down, and obviously it also adds back some not a lot, but at least a little bit of energy back into the battery. So it's a win-win in that you get to add a bit of energy back to the battery, and you also get to save on your brakes. And so it really helps out a lot, and it actually comes in more useful when you're on twisty roads, right? Because it's almost like driving with half a foot on the brakes. And so I mean, you can hit the accelerator and not really worry about the brake, because I mean, once you lift off your foot on the pedal, it'll automatically begin to gently apply the brakes. So once you get the hang of that, it can be a lot of fun to drive. What else, guys? I think that's that's about what I have. You know, next time I'll probably, you know, just do a you know, video, at least just, you know, kind of showing the ins and the outs of this car. But I just, for now, just kind of wanted to, you know, drop this quick you know, video. So I hope you all you know, like that. And if you have any questions, leave your you know, comments below. Share this video, like this video, and as y'all can see, I'm having so much fun. So I gotta concentrate on these roads and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care and peace out.